Hello all, welcome back to this session. Today we are going to solve problem based on consignment. So let's get started. So we are starting with question 2 of consignment accounting. Current sold goods on behalf of Roy & Company on consignment basis. So in this case, who is consignor and consignee? Current sold goods on behalf of Roy & Company. So Roy & Company would be consignor, and since Karan sold on his behalf, so Karan would be consignee. On 1st January 2018, he had with him a stock of 20,000 on consignment. So this consignment is not the first year. Karan already was selling goods on behalf of Roy & Company, and in this particular year in 2018, Karan has an opening stock of 20,000 which was on consignment. Karan had instruction to sell the goods at cost plus 25% and was entitled to a commission of 4% on sale, in addition to 1% Del-Credere commission on total sales for guaranteeing the collection of all the sale proceeds. So now he is getting 4% ordinary commission plus 1% Del-Credere commission, and he was instructed to sell the goods at 25% on cost, so cost plus 25%. During the year ended 31st December 18, cash sales were 1,20,000 and credit sales were 1,05,000, and Karan's expenses related to consignment being 3,000 being salaries and insurance. Bad debts were 3,000 and goods sent on consignment were 2 lakhs. From the above, prepare necessary ledger accounts in books of both the parties. So you need to prepare the ledger accounts in books of both the parties. They have given you ordinary commission, Del-Credere commission. They have told you that there is a cash sales and credit sales. There is consignee's expenses. So this is cash sales of 1,20,000, credit sales of 1,05,000. There is consignee's expenses of 3,000. There is also bad debts of 3,000, and total goods sent on consignment is 2 lakhs. And you need to prepare necessary accounts in books of both the parties. Now, if we think in the books of consignor, what all accounts will be prepared? So in the books of Roy & Company, that is consignor, we prepare consignment account, consignee account, that would be Karan's account, and since goods are sent, so we also prepare goods sent on consignment account. Now since the Del-Credere commission is given, the consignment debtors will appear in the books of consignee, because consignee now will do all the collection work. Consignee is getting this extra commission for guaranteeing the collection of all sale proceeds. So now debtors will appear in the books of consignee. Consignor is not bothered with cash sales or credit sales. Consignor will ask for the entire payment from consignee. So in the books of consignee, what all accounts will be prepared? So in the books of consignee, that is Karan, we prepare consignor account, that is Roy & Company account. We prepare consignment debtors account. Since there are commissions, so one commission account, Del-Credere commission is also there. So Del-Credere commission account and profit and loss account. So you will prepare all this necessary ledger account in the books of both the parties, and we'll start with the posting. So now we'll start posting. Now over here, first of all, we have the opening stock on consignment. They have specified that Karan has a stock of 20,000 on 1st January. So this is the opening stock. So generally opening stock comes as trading debit. Over here, instead of trading account, we prepare consignment account. So in consignment account, we write as to stock on consignment. In bracket, we can write as opening stock, and that stock is 20,000. So this is your opening stock. For opening stock, we write as stock on consignment. Similarly, when it is closing stock, for closing stock, we also write as stock on consignment. Then goods are sent on consignment for 2 lakhs. So we'll pass the entry for that 2 lakhs. Now these are all the description of commission and all. Commission is to be accounted when the sales are made. But before sales, first the goods are sent, expenses are done, then consignee receives the goods and consignee sells those goods. So first of all, we'll pass the entry for goods sent on consignment. So entry would be consignment account debit, like purchases we debit to trading account. Similarly, this is like a purchase for the consignment business. So consignment to goods sent on consignment account, that is 2 lakhs. Now second effect of this goods sent would come in goods sent on consignment account by consignment account, that is 2 lakhs. So now goods are sent on consignment. Now for sending those goods, we'll see what other information is given. Karan had instruction to sell the goods at cost plus 25% and was entitled to a commission of 4% on sales and 1% Del-Credere commission. So these are the two commission rates that is given, that will pass once the sales entry is done. During the year ended 31st December 18. Now, they have just given you opening and closing date. So I have not prepared date column. Otherwise, if the dates are given for all the transactions like opening date, when the goods were sent, when the goods were received by the consignee, when consignee sold those goods, or the consignee transaction can be recorded at the year end when the account sales is received. So you can prepare date column, but over here the goods sent date was not given, so I have not prepared date column. During the year ended 31st December 18, cash sales and credit sales are given. Current expenses are given as 3,000 and bad debts is given as 3,000 and goods sent is 2 lakh. So now in this case there is no consignor's expenses. So since consignor's expenses are not given, we'll skip that. After that, consignee receives the goods. Now consignee has sold those goods for 1,20,000 and 1,05,000. Now this is very important. When the Del-Credere commission is given, all the dators, collection from dators work will be done by the consignee. So that is why we have prepared consignment dators in the books of consignee. So how this will be recorded? First of all, cash sales. So what will be the entry for cash sales? It would be cash bank to sales. Instead of sales, we credit consignment account by. Now, is the sales is received by Roy & Company? No, the sales amount is received by the consignor, that is current. So we'll say by current account. So our entry becomes cash bank to sales, and for that we write as in the books of consignor, current to consignment account. Cash is received by current, and to consignment, sales will be credited to consignment account. So by a current account for cash sales, that is 1,20,000, and this would be debited to current account. To consignment account for cash sales, 1,20,000. Now for credit sales 1,05,000. Now for this credit sales also, consignor will ask payment from current itself, from consignee itself, because consignor is giving extra commission for that purpose itself, that consignor now will not deal with the dators, consignee will deal with the dators. So again, now my credit sales entry is dators to sales, but instead of dators, the consignor is going to collect that money from whom? From consignee. That will current account debit. So instead of dators, current account debit to sales. Instead of sales, consignment credit. So by again current account. So guys, we have discussed this all the entries in our previous sessions. So if you have any doubt or clarification, for more clarification, you can refer those sessions and videos. Credit sales is 1,05,000 and it will be again debited to current account to consignment account. Credit sales 1,05,000. Now this both transactions are done by current, so this would be recorded in the books of current also. So in the books of current, for cash sales, again I'll repeat, entry is cash bank to sales. Cash bank is received by current, but sales pertains to consignor. So will I pass the entry as cash bank to consignor. So in the books of current, that is consignee, consignor account will be credited by cash bank account for cash sales, that was 1,20,000. And second effect goes to cash bank. We don't prepare cash bank account because we don't have other transaction of cash bank account. And for credit sales, entry is dators to sales. Again, sales pertains to Roy & Company, so it would be credited to Roy & Company consignor's account. And dators now appears in the books of current, so that would be debited to consignment dators account. So by consignment dators account, credit sales, and credit sales amount is 1,05,000. Second effect of credit sales will come in consignment dators to Roy & Company account, sales 1,05,000. Next, current expenses related to consignment 3,000 being salaries and insurance. So now, first of all, we'll pass entry in the books of consignor. These expenses are done by current, but this is on behalf of consignment, so it would be debited to consignment account too. So expenses to cash bank, instead of that, consignment account debit to cash, but cash is paid by whom? Current account. So Roy & Company will say to current account, and in that write the description of expense, that is salaries and insurance 3,000, and this would second effect goes to current account credit by consignment account for expenses 3,000, and this will be also recorded by current account. So in the books of current, expense entry again is expense to cash bank, but this expense are on behalf of Roy & Company, so this would be debited to Roy & Company account, to cash bank, because cash is paid by current. So cash is going out for expenses 3,000. Now if you can see, whenever Roy & Company debits current account, at the same time current credits Roy & Company account. So this is similar. If consignor is debiting consignee, then consignee will credit that party. And again, when consignor has credited consignee, the consignee will debit the consignor. So that is the opposite effect. So if you forget sometimes, or if you are confused that whether it is to be debited or credited, so that is the technique. So this was debit, so this will come on the credit side. This is credit, comes on the debit side. Only the particular changes according to the transaction. Next, bad debts were 3,000 now. This bad debts will be borne by whom? By consignor or consignee? This would be borne by the consignee because Del-Credere commission is given. So this is to be borne by consignee. So this will be recorded only in the books of current. Current is your consignee. So in the books of consignee, what is the entry for bad debts? It is bad debts to debtors. So it will be credited to debtors account by. But now for this bad debts, for this responsibility, we are receiving this Del-Credere commission. So instead of debiting bad debts account, we debit Del-Credere commission account. This we also have discussed in our explanation video why we debit the Del-Credere commission account. So instead of bad debts new account being opened, we debit that expense to Del-Credere commission account because this commission is received for the collection, for the additional responsibility purpose. So against this commission, if we have any expense or loss, it is to be debited to the same account. So we'll say by Del-Credere commission account, and in bracket we'll write as bad debts 3,000, and it will be debited to Del-Credere commission account to consignment debtors account 3,000 for bad debts. And this will not be recorded by the consignor because the Del-Credere commission is given and bad debts will be borne by consignee. So I will write just a working note below this question, that was for your reference. First, loss of bad debts to be borne by consignee since Del-Credere commission is given by consignor. Okay. Next, goods sent on consignment is 2 lakhs, so that we have already recorded goods sent on consignment 2 lakhs. Now this paragraph is done. Finally coming to this paragraph, we have 2 commission, that is 4% on sales and 1% Del-Credere commission. So we'll record for commission. Now commission is again an expense for the consignment, so it would be debited to, and it is payable to whom? Current account to consignee account. So to current account, commission. Now commission is given at 4% on sales. So this is total sales. Now total sales is 2,25,000 into 4%. So that comes to this 2,25,000 is 1,20,000 cash sales plus 1,05,000 credit sales. So that comes to 225, that is total sales, into 4%. So that comes to 9,000. And we are also giving Del-Credere commission. Now if nothing specified, we calculate on total sales, but we'll check the question. 4% on sales and in addition to 1% Del-Credere commission on total sales. So this is also on total sales. So this is 2,25,000 into 1%. So that comes to 2250. Second effect of this commission goes to current account. So by consignment account, and we can write as total commission, and commission comes to 2250 plus 9,000, so it comes to 11,250. So this is an expense for the consignment business, so consignment debit, and it is payable to current, so current credit. So for expenses and commission, we debit the consignment account and we credit the consignee account. Now this will be again recorded in the books of consignee. So in the books of consignee, now this is an income, so income should be credited to the respective income account, and it is receivable from whom? From Roy & Company, that is consignor, so it would be debited to consignor account. And the technique which I told you, here it is credited, so it should be debited over here. So I'll say to commission account, So entry becomes consignor account debit, from whom the commission is receivable, to commission account credit your income. So to commission account, and commission was 9,000, to Del-Credere commission account, and that is 2250, and credit the respective account. So in commission by Roy and Company account 9,000, and Del-Credere commission by Roy and Company account 2250. Now if you can see, in Del-Credere commission account we have received this extra commission for taking extra responsibility, but in that responsibility we have incurred or suffered a loss of bad debt, so that is adjusted against this income. Okay, so that is why we debit the bad debts to Del-Credere commission account, and for that purpose we prepare commission account and Del-Credere commission account separately, because bad debts will not be set off against the normal commission. Normal commission is not for the collection responsibility, so we'll keep normal commission account separately. If there is any overriding commission, that will also goes to this commission account, but for Del-Credere commission account you open a new account called Del-Credere commission account. So that commission part is done. Now what was this? Current had instruction to sell the goods at cost plus 25%, but if you see the question, they have directly given you the sales amount. If they would have given you the cost of sales amount, we would have added 25% and we would have find the selling price, but they have directly given you that cash sales is 120 and credit sales is 105. So for finding the sales amount, this is not important, but this would be important for further calculation. Now if you see, if we think of a basic consignment cycle which we have discussed, how the transactions occur in consignment, we have an opening stock, the goods are sent, there are no consignor's expenses, then consignee receives the stock, consignee sells those goods, consignee incurs the expenses, consignee has the commission as due to the consignee. Then what we do? After that we check whether there is any closing stock or not. So guys, now in this question, closing stock working would be very important, because if you check, there is no quantity given. So you'll have to find out in a different way. So I'll prepare a second note for closing stock. First of all, what they have instructed, current and instruction to sell the goods at cost plus 25%. So I can say cost plus profit would be selling price, and this is cost plus 25%. So the profit which is on cost, we will assume cost as 100. So if cost is 100, then 25% of 100 would be, profit would be 25, then the selling price would be 125. So this is just this equation I have written over here. So profit is applied on cost, so we assume cost as 100, on that 25% this becomes 25, then the selling price would be 125. So assuming if the cost is 100, then the selling price would be 125. Now while calculating the closing stock, we can find out closing stock like this: opening plus purchases minus sales, that will give you closing stock. So if I have some quantity in opening stock, I have purchased some quantity, and out of which I have sold some quantity, the balance would be in my stock. Similarly, I am going to find out closing stock in this question. We will have some opening stock. Now though we don't have the quantity, we have the cost, so we will find out the closing stock at cost directly from the amount. So we have an opening stock. If you see the question, we have an opening stock of 20,000, that is specified over here also. Now to this we add purchases. In case of consignment, what is your purchases? This goods sent on consignment account. So goods sent on consignment, that is of 2 lakhs, denotes purchases, and that is at cost itself. And what we deduct? Less sales. But now we cannot directly deduct sales, because sales are at selling price. I cannot deduct selling price from the cost, so I will have to find out cost of goods sold. As you understood this, we need to find out cost of goods sold, because if I have opening stock at cost, if I have purchases at cost, then sales should be at cost for deducting from this 2 amounts. So we need to find out cost of goods sold. So we will find cost of goods sold of cash sales and credit sales. Now, what cash sales? For cash sales, what is the selling price of cash sales? Is 1,20,000. So if the selling price is 1,20,000, then we can find out the cost of cash sales. So that would be cross multiply 1,20,000 into 100 divide by 125. So that comes to 96,000. And same way credit sales. You can even do this directly for the total sales of 2,25,000. That is also fine. So credit sales is 1,05,000 and its cost would be same cross multiply. So 1,05,000 into 100 divided by 125. So that comes to 84,000. So this total COGS. What is COGS? Cost of goods sold would be 84,000 plus 96,000. So that comes to 1,80,000. If you have done on 2,25,000 total sales itself, then it would be selling price is 2,25,000 into 100 divided by 125. So that directly gives you 1,80,000. So that is also fine. So 2,25,000 working I am writing over here. 2,25,000 into 100 divided by 125. Either you do this or you do separately, that is perfectly fine. So we'll deduct COGS from this. So opening plus purchases minus cost of goods sold will give you closing stock at cost. So now your closing stock is 20,000 plus 2 lakhs minus 1,80,000. So that comes to 40,000. So now this is your 40,000 closing stock. So we have find out our closing stock now. So guys, in this question, this closing stock working is very important. This was some different way of finding the closing stock. So whenever you don't have quantity, you can go with this. But do remember that you have to take everything at cost. That is, you have to take everything on the same basis. Now you cannot take one element as selling price and one element at cost. So if you are taking cost, you have to take everything at cost. And that was very simple, and for that purpose, this was important. Instruction to sell the goods at cost plus 25%. This was very important for calculation of closing stock. Okay. So now you have find out the closing stock will give the effect for the same. Closing stock goes to trading credit, and over here instead of trading credit we have consignment account credit. So we'll write as buy stock on consignment, that is your closing stock, and we can give the reference of working note 2, and it is. So now this stock on consignment, which is closing stock for the current period, will become opening stock for the next period and will come on the debit side. So this gets carried forward. So this opening stock for the current period was your closing stock for the previous period. So now we have find out the closing stock also. So we are done with the question. Opening, goods sent, consignor's expenses are not that, consignee's expenses, commission, sales and closing stock. So we'll start closing our accounts. So first of all, starting with the consignment. Now this stock will not be recorded by consignee because the ownership of the goods lies with the consignor and not the consignee. So this is our consignor. So all the stock matter will be recorded only by the consignor. The sales was recorded over here because it was sold by consignee and the amount is to be given to the consignor. Otherwise, whatever the goods are sent, whatever is the opening stock, whatever is the closing stock will be there in the books of consignor because the ownership is with the consignor. So now start closing the consignment account. Find out the balance, whether there is a profit or loss. So credit side comes to 2,65,000 minus deduct the debit side, minus 20,000 minus 2 lakhs, 3,000. So that comes to 30,750. Now since your credit is more, this is the credit balance which is termed as profit and will go to profit and loss account, and in bracket we write as profit, or you can write as profit on consignment. In this case, in current account, is any settlement made? Have they specified that the settlement is made? So this is the opening stock, this is the commission to sale cost plus 25%. There is cash sales, credit sales, consignor's expenses, bad debts and goods sent. Now in this case they have not told you about the settlement. So whatever the balance is there in the consignee's account will get just carry forward. So now the total of this 1,20,000 plus 1,05,000 is 2,25,000. Out of 2,25,000 of sale proceeds, consignee will deduct his expense of 3,000, commission of 11,250, and balance is receivable by consignor 2,10,750 by balance carried down. If they say that the settlement is to be made, then you'll make the settlement like by bank or by bills. If they don't tell you about the settlement, then the balance would be carried down. Goods sent on consignment account. This goods sent on consignment account is closed and transferred to trading or purchases account. That means it would be deducted from trading or purchases and it was transferred to consignment. So to trading or purchases account, that is 2 lakh. So like we deduct goods withdrawn for personal use from purchases or from trading account. This is like goods sent on consignment, which would be deducted from normal business and transferred to consignment. So we have already closed the books of the consignor. Now closing the books of the consignee. In the books of consignee, whatever the balance is there in the consignor's book, in the consignee account, the same would be in the consignor account. In the books of consignee, it should be same, but on the opposite side. So if this is the debit balance, this would be the credit balance and should always come same, because all the transaction between those parties are recorded. So this is 2,25,000. Again, if you want to deduct 2,25,000 minus 3,000 minus 9,000 minus 2250, so that comes to 210,750 same. Obviously, we have recorded all the transactions on both the sides. So whatever transaction are there in current account, the same transaction are there in the Roy and Company account, but on the opposite side. So if this is debit, this is credit. If this is credit, this is debit. And since there is no settlement, balance would be carried down. In case of consignment debtors, if we close consignment debtors 1,05,000, 1,05,000 minus 3,000, 1,02,000. Now, either you can assume that debtors have not yet paid, so entire balance is carried forward, or if we see there are some sales and there is some bad debts during the year, but there would be some collection, some of the debtors might have paid, so either you assume this as balance carried out, assuming no payment has received from rest of the debtors, or you can assume that you have received the payment from the debtors. So by cash bank account, and this is the balancing figure of collection, because if we see there would be some collection during the year for the debtors. So on that note, I am assuming that this is the collection, and that is the better assumption, because if they had given you collection some amount and then you come find out some balancing figure, then you can carry forward that figure. Okay, since nothing was specified about the collection, I assume this balancing figure as collection from debtors. Now commission, whatever the balance in the commission account will be transferred to P&L, because that is an income for the current year and this is a nominal account, and at the period end nominal account gets closed and transferred to P&L account. So by P&L account, and then over here by commission 9,000, and lastly Del-Credere commission account. Now if you see Del-Credere commission account, your debit side is more than the credit side. That means this was your income account, but for this income we have suffered higher amount of loss. So there is a balancing figure of 3,000 minus 2250. So you have a balancing figure of 750. This is actually a loss suffered by the consignee for taking this additional responsibility. For taking this additional responsibility, consignee has received extra commission of 2250, but in this case consignee has suffered a bad debts loss of 3,000. This was your loss of bad debts. So actually net there is a loss on this agreement of Del-Credere commission. So this would be also transferred to profit and loss account. So any income or losses at the end is always transferred to P&L, but this would be debited to P&L because that was the net loss. So to Del-Credere commission account. So now if you see, since we are putting bad debts in Del-Credere commission account, the net effect can be seen. So consignee can understand, okay, I have received extra commission, but I have suffered more loss. So in this Del-Credere agreement or arrangement, I am suffering a loss. So from the next period, either the consignee would be more careful about the credit sales for more collection, better collection, and lower down the bad debts loss, or consignee will ask for the more commission from the consignor. So from the next period, he does not suffer the loss. Okay. So to Del-Credere commission 750, and finally whatever the net profit is there in the P&L account, you can assume that this is the only net profit, or you can say the balance in the P&L account will get carried forward. So balancing figure comes to 9,000 minus 750, 8250. This is 9,000 to balance carried down. But overall in this arrangement, consignee has earned an income of 8250. So though he has earned 9,000 commission, but he has suffered a loss of 750 on account of bad debts. So there is a net income or net gain of 8250 for consignee. In the books of consignor has net gained 30,750 from this consignment arrangement. So guys, you understood this entire posting. Now in this question, I'll just highlight the important items. What were the important things? Now in this question, we had an opening stock, which is not there almost in each and every sum. So that opening stock was important. Again, there was a Del-Credere commission. So that is a different thing. In this case, this Del-Credere commission, so this account was important, where there was a bad debts, and this bad debts was transferred to Del-Credere commission. So that was important. Then normal stock valuation. So whatever working we have done for the stock valuation, that was very important, because over here the quantity was not specified. So whatever format we have discussed in previous sessions, that would not be applicable over here because there is no quantity. So we'll have to find out by the cost of goods sold, opening plus purchases minus COGS, and that will give you cost of closing stock. Okay. Then I have already written the note for the bad debts, that is to be borne by consignee since Del-Credere commission was given. And other accounts are simple, there is no settlement given, so we say as balance carried down. So guys, you understood this question, so you can refer, and we'll go with the more question in further sessions. So that's it for today. I hope you are enjoying this session. If you have any query related to it, do post in the comment section given below. Stay tuned with us for more such problem solving sessions with us. Thank you.